Hello everyone and welcome to my Fantasy Renaissance series. So growing up, I've always been a fantasy book girly, but through the years as I've dabbled into different genres of books, I found myself gravitating less towards reading fantasy. I just thought that it takes a lot of time and brain power. And fantasy books normally come in a series. But this year, I am determined to read more fun fantasy books. So what better way to start the challenge than driving to the park at 6 a.m., going for a run even though I hate running, and reading my book afterwards. So at this point, I've been reading this book for too long, and I just checked Goodreads and I've been reading it for 5 months, and to me that just feels like it's not real, like it's a trick that I've been reading this for 5 months, but apparently it's true, and I don't know what to do with that information, but yep. So I think the problem that I've been having with this book is that the hype has long passed. I'm not as excited as I was before, and I just don't have the urge to pick this up, and that's for a fantasy read, that's a no-no, because for fantasy you have to consume more brain cells than if you're reading like a romance, I think. So if you're not that into it, it's hard to just keep reading, but probably my strategy is gonna be reading a huge chunk of it and then just trying to get into the mood reading this, because in my heart, like, I do want to finish this and I know that I'm gonna enjoy this. Right now there's just resistance. See, I even have like all of them. This is not even opened yet because I first read this book on Scribd, which is an app or a website, and so I read that there, so I didn't read it physically. I bought the first book because it's one of my favorites, so I have that. It's not opened. I want to annotate that. And then I actually reread the second book, which is The Dragon Republic, and I forgot when I started reading this, but apparently I stopped here because there's a bookmark there. But yeah, that's just how much I love this fantasy series. So I really don't know why there's much resistance with this book. So this law is gonna be my last study task for the day. Afterwards, I can read. Oh no, it's long.
When I wake up in my bed, same old roof over my head, you will never hear me complain. 'Cause it's just a second long walk to my favorite place on the block, where I always go to escape. So I'll never need to roam to a home away from home, 'cause I'm fine right here on my couch. And if I'm planning with my friends where the night is gonna end, but I'll stay without a doubt.
This book is testing me. There's so many plot twists, and I just can't. If I would describe this book as a meme, it's the guy that says emotional damage, because clearly it's damaging me. And I even love that freaking character. Now I feel like Boo Boo the Fool. I was tricked.
Don't want to contravene and take what we got off the screen. I kinda like the old routine. Let's stick to ones and O's. I hate to break binary code. We'd make the system overload. I can't decrypt it all, but I
Good morning. So yesterday, I actually read quite a lot of The Burning God. So I started at page 123, which is here, chapter 7. And I ended up freaking here. I read 123 to page 458, which is, honestly, look at that. I can't believe this took me 5 months to read. Anyway, so many things are happening, betrayals, so many sad events, so many dark turns. I would say though this isn't my favorite of the series. I don't know, some parts they just feel like it's not really something that happens that quickly. Although this is a very long book and it's literally the last book in the series, I still feel that somehow it's rushed or it's not natural. That's just my personal feelings. Obviously, if you enjoyed that part, it's fine. But yeah, so I believe that I can finish this today, and honestly, this is my fantasy renaissance. I mean, look at that. I read that in only one day. Who am I? What am I? I was not the person I was yesterday. But yeah, I'll finish this today. Also, I ordered some coffee. You saw that earlier. And I'm still waiting for it to kick in. But if you're watching this, do you think the coffee's kicked in? Because I don't know. But yeah, I'll finish this today. This is so damn sad. Hello! So last night I finished The Burning God by R.F. Kuang and it was traumatizing. I would probably never read this book again just because of the sheer sadness that it gave me. I cried. It was so brutal and just so cruel to my soul. But yeah, still very good though. Not my favorite out of the trilogy, but definitely a very good book. And then after that, to get over my grief, I decided to read this novella or short story called The Six Deaths. The Six Deaths of the Saint, which is a very popular book nowadays, and that was a bad idea. It was so sad as well. It was so beautiful. The writing was so gorgeous, but it was so sad as well. And it's basically about this girl or person who is the main person who handles wars and stuff like that. And it details her deaths. Yeah, it definitely was a bad idea to read that book after I read The Burning God. So now I had to get over 2 books at once at 2 a.m. So anyway, today I will be reading She Who Became the Sun, which is one of my favorite fantasy books. And I actually started rereading it a few months back. I just want to read this again, and I did forget some of the scenes in the book and just how much I love this book. Like the characters, I just want to relive everything. So I'm gonna be reading this book. And hold on, look at the bookmark in this. Hold on. I mean, can you see how perfect that is for the book? It's also gold. So just to give you a background, this was one of my favorite books, I think, in 2021. And essentially, I read it. Did I read it? Oh yeah, I read it advanced reader's copy. I got that digital version. So I wanted to support my author, my favorite author, Shelley Parker Chan, who is probably sick of me just yelling about this book on Twitter and tagging. But yeah, I think I'll never shut up about that. That's part of my branding until 2023, I guess. Got it digitally, bought a copy to support, and to annotate. You know, I'm a very sentimental person actually.
Pick your season or occupation. It's time to listening to Jackson 5. We can make it, we'll survive. Though we might be sleep deprived. Employee discounts will be our fall when we make our money and spend it all. Since we're working,
Hello everyone, so I finished She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, and it's still such a good book. It's still one of my ultimate favorite fantasies, and I'm so happy that I reread this. Shelley Parker Chan's writing just hits me so hard, and it's just such a good book if you're looking for a fantasy that has this balance of being gritty and also not that hard to understand. Definitely give this book a try. And then, of course, I also finished reading The Burning God. As I said, it's not my favorite of the trilogy, but it's still such a good ending to a fun fantasy series. And then, of course, I also finished reading the novella that is very popular right now, which is The Six Deaths of a Saint. And honestly, it was so beautiful. The writing is amazing. Very intricate story that is just such a good short story. I can't say any more than that because then I'll be giving the story away. But yes. So that was the beginning of my 2023 Fantasy Renaissance series. I read 3 popular books and I am definitely seeing myself being able to read more fantasy this year. I'm very excited for all the fun fantasy books this year is going to bring. Thank you so much for watching this vlog and stay tuned for more fantasy reading vlogs in the future. If you're still here, please recommend more fantasy books for me to read. Bye!
정말 감사합니다.